The irrigation system is nearly complete, and now it's time to finish building these backyard golf greens. There is load number 3. There's one more to come to complete these 2 greens, and the truck driver says he's gonna go get it today, and that's really nice of him because that's a 5-hour round trip. My biggest fear all along is being off on my estimations for volume and weight needed here of this Rootzone mix. I do not want to get into a 5th truck. I think it looks pretty good right now. I felt a little nervous on that first green when I had the first load on. It didn't look like I got very far, but I think with that huge pile that we got right there, that's gonna fill in most of this area, and then I really just have over here with the 4th load. Back for another day, and we have things actually happening here. Last night, pretty late, our 4th load showed up of the Rootzone mix. That is our final load. Also, our correct bentgrass showed up. They sent me the wrong bentgrass the first time. That is the correct one, 007 XL. I love the people naming these grass seeds. This is one of the super bents. I'll go into more detail on the seed specifics itself when we do sow this green, which will actually be fairly soon. Tear. Very secure. Oh boy. I have read that bentgrass seed is tiny and they weren't lying. I don't know if you can pick the seed up on camera, but there is some that is static clung to the side of this pail, and it's on my knife, and it is so tiny. How am I going to spread this stuff? After this project being a dream for years, we're so close to seeding this green. I have to do it. I'm going to plant some bentgrass in this pot to get a couple days head start to see how quick it comes up. Even in the hot, dry sun, this material holds a lot of moisture. It's surprising. There's only maybe 1/8 of an inch dry on top of the surface, and the sun has been beating on this pile for 5 hours now. And I'll keep water on it for the next few days, and hopefully we see some green growth here. It could be 4 or 5 days. This stuff is fast. And then we'll move the final load of the USGA Rootzone mix, finish off this green, hopefully have a lot left over where I can go down to the small green, start to really dial it in, build up some areas, shape some areas with the extra material, and then do the same down here. Really do a fine touch, because I think I have a Sand Pro coming this weekend to run this thing for the final shape. Oh, kind of regret doing this much irrigation, but I can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. This feels like a desert over here. We get blasted with full sun here. I could have probably went with just a tall fescue, let it grow thin, wild, long. Would have looked cool, but I'm gonna try to push it, do some bluegrass up here, lush green rough. I kind of really like that, so that is the plan. I've got one more trench to tie in here. This is the rockiest area. You can see the rocks flying out of here. I'm regretting the trench up here, but I think in the end, it will be worth it. I did have enough material. That was the huge worry when I started. It didn't look great, but we've got 10 inches down here. I might top it up a little bit in a few spots, but there's quite a bit there, half a dump truck load, so I can now use that where I need it. And if you look over there at that red thing, that is going to be the ticket to get these greens leveled off. My dad did a really good job with the tractor, better than I could have done with the skid steer, that's for sure. He's got a pretty level area here. It's quite impressive. It looks good for the first time ever. When you stand up on some elevated areas here, it looks like a golf green. Everyone I talked to said you gotta get your hands on one of these, so I did get my hands on one of these. This is a Toro Sand Pro. It is what they run on golf courses through the bunkers, through the sand traps to make them nice and smooth. Not too much science to this process. It is the weight of the machine, the tires, compacting, pressing down, packing that soil, the blade at the back smooths it all out, so you just keep basically doing lap for literally hours on end. So we got one of those. I got to make use of it this weekend. I want to get both of these greens done up so that I can seed possibly in 2 to 3 days. Down, up. Not sure what I'm doing, but we're gonna figure it out. Ooh, look at that. Okay, that thing's awesome. that does such a great job. Those 5 small fins, they just drag around and pull sand to where it needs to be. The wheels nice and wide, heavy machine, so I can pack this down. Just wanted to try this right now, probably buzz around, take my grade stakes out, but for now I'm gonna hop back on. We'll do a whole bunch more laps. I love that Toro stuff. It's just so heavy duty. That is pretty fun to use. I don't know if I want to do 6 hours on it in a row, but I can tell I've firmed that up a little bit for sure, not super firm yet. The top layer is so fluffy because it's dry. The peat has really come to the surface. You can see the little balls of peat, but it's definitely more firm than it was. That was maybe only 15, 20 minutes. That top layer, maybe the first inch or so, is super dry and fluffy just because it is so dry. I really have to get the sprinklers hooked up. I've been putting that off, but I'm going to have to get at least 4 on each green going, soak this down, and then use the machine. I think that would be a really nice combination. I'm gonna hop on it now. We'll take it down to the smaller green, run that one for 15, 20 minutes, see what that looks like. Well, that thing definitely works. I don't want to sound like I was doubting it, but it's only 900 pounds on those 3 wide tires, but boy, does it ever pack it down nicely. For the first time now, we can actually get a look at the surface. It kind of looks like a green. I think it's puttable. It's by no means perfect and no means where I'm going to be at the end. Smooth and flat. This one's always been the easier one to work on because it's smaller, and this one will be flatter than the other one. It's 5:30 in the morning. It takes forever for the sun to come up this time of year. I thought it would be a smart idea to come out here and start my valve box, tie in all my sprinklers here. This is the main area where the sprinklers, the water will come in and then get sent out to all my zones. However, in the house it seemed like a good idea, but you get out here and it's pretty slow working in the dark. So that is it for today. That didn't take too long. It is not yet 7:30. The nice thing about this setup is that I've done pretty much all of the work up front. I just have to take that temporary pipe off, put some Teflon tape around the male adapter here, and basically just screw the rotor on. All right, that is definitely gonna have to get backfilled. And the last thing I have to do is reduce my water intake line and attach it to the manifold. The watering system is all tied in. The 4 rotors are screwed down. This should work. If I turn the breaker on, we got water. Forgot to backfill them. Got too excited. It's going 40 feet in the air. We've got water, really nice coverage. Irrigation, it sucks when you're doing it, when you're laying all that pipe, but when you get to see and hear the sound of water flying out of these rotors, super cool. Always worth it in the end. Back for another morning. That is firm everywhere now. It's very consistent. And some bad news yesterday, which I did see coming. I have to bring in my topsoil before I can finish this green and seed it. This Rootzone mix here, it is super soft and fluffy. There's nothing to it. I can't get to it with the Sand Pro because we fall off. So I have to build up my collar with some soil, and then I can run this perimeter. So that means I got to get this last irrigation line in and then start trucking topsoil here, which is another job which is going to delay me on seeding. And I'm running out of time, but I'm probably still going to seed anyway. So just like yesterday, we've got an early morning of irrigation. Not a huge run. I've got 5 flags here, these light green ones. So I'll tie that in. That is my perimeter collar rotors that are going to shoot out from the golf green. But I got to get them in before I get the soil here. So we're doing some more irrigation. This light brown material is really just a sand that I brought in. It's super nice to work with, holds some moisture but won't stay soaked. So I think it's going to be a good base layer. And then I'm trying to stay down about that far from the green because I want to put maybe 4 inches of topsoil, maybe 5. For the first time ever, this actually looks like a golf green. We've got the topsoil in to the Rootzone mix, and it looks really good. Topsoil. I can't believe I'm actually saying the word topsoil. It has been 3 or 4 years planned for this project, and yesterday I touched the first piece of topsoil, so kind of crazy. I've worked so long on the subsoil, the existing soil here, shaping it, working it, sorting the rock, all that stuff, and we finally have the expensive stuff, the final coat, that nice dark topsoil. How good does that edge look? It works nicely with the slope. My dad's actually been raking here by hand. We had an argument this morning. I wanted to just drag it quick with the machine. He said to rake it, that was the way to do it, and I gotta admit he was right. This is gonna look great when it's seeded and coming to life green. That green is bigger than I thought it was going to be. I keep pushing it out and cheating it with Rootzone mix, and we still have quite a bit of Rootzone mix. I'm quite happy with this. So most of this is now gonna go to the other green. I have to get the Sand Pro back soon, so I really wanna get that collar area, the perimeter of both greens in good shape, and then I can drive the Sand Pro right onto it, and it makes a perfect meeting area where the topsoil meets the Rootzone mix. Back at the smaller green here near the house, and I want to finish this mound here. It was really flat as you approach this green, and I wanted to do something, not another bunker. I don't want to deal with another bunker, but I'd like to do a grassy mound where I'd keep maybe some longer grass on it, just as a little bit of a hazard. I cannot believe the job he did. Once the surround received the topsoil and the shaping, it just brought it all together. I thought when I started this that I could probably pull off a decent green, like a good one, a good-ish green. But seeing it come together, I think if I can learn how to grow and manage bentgrass, I think I got a chance here to make this look really good. Like, it just got dialed in here with the topsoil. It's on another level now. You can start to actually see it take shape as we work from the collar out. My dad did another big shift today. I honestly don't know how he does it. I would have never been able to look at these slopes, look at the shape he's got. He packed that with his shoes, every square inch. He's wearing like dress shoes or walking shoes or something, doesn't even have boots on, and he did everything. The mounds look awesome. The perimeter where the collar meets the shortcut, it looks great, so I gotta thank him. I have no idea how he did it. He pulled that landscape rake for the last 2 days. I'm pretty good on depth. If you ever wanna check depth, a broken golf club is a fantastic way to do it. It's strong enough to cut through that sand, and you can feel the gravel crunch, and I've got some really good depth and thickness to this material. Super happy with that. The Sand Pro has ran for a couple hours on that larger green. This one has not gone anywhere near that, and we just finished off the outside here, so I'm gonna sink for sure. I wanna pack down this outside 3 feet or 1 meter or so here. I'm not exactly sure the best way to use that Sand Pro, but I kind of went in circles on that other green, and it magically takes down the high spots, deposited in the low spots. I was actually getting dizzy there the other day running it, but it works really well. I'm gonna jump back on it now, run this green hard to get this thing set up and a little bit harder. And I'm gonna really hope I don't barf on camera here because I am not feeling great and I'm gonna have to do quite a few circles. Well, that was a lot of spinning, but it does look really well. I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing. Never really watched a video, never read anything on this, but it makes a little bit of sense. When I did the small circles, I come from the wood industry, and it's almost like an orbital sander. Everybody's kind of seen one of those things as it makes the small circles and smooths out the wood. Same idea here. I kind of pushed it out to the outside. I was high in the middle with some crown, which I want to be, but I had a low spot over here. So I think I'm close. I don't know what I'm doing. It does kind of move the sand the way you want it. So I think it's pretty good. Got some life to it for sure. Everyone tells me when you seed it and have the grass grow, you can really see the break a lot more than you can on bare sand. It is firm underfoot, just a different feeling when you run that machine for a while on it. It is a lot more firm. We had some rain the last couple days, which helped pack this thing down too as I get that weight on here. This place would look so good with some sun on it, but it's overcast and cloudy. However, we got better weather tomorrow, and tomorrow we will find out if we can finally get out the pail of bentgrass seed and figure out how we're going to seed these two greens. Up next, it's finally time to seed the bentgrass golf greens.